Welcome back. We're taking a look at Serbia now. Two reasons for that. The upcoming election that pits a hardline nationalist in the Milosevic mold, Tomislav Nikolic, against a pro-European candidate, as well as the global media attention currently being refocused on Kosovo as the breakaway province prepares to declare independence. It's been nearly 10 years since NATO bombed Serbia, and Kosovo was at the heart of that conflict. The Listening Post's Sinead O'Shea now from Belgrade on the reporting of this new chapter in the story and the strained dynamic that still exists between the domestic and international news media over how Serbia and Kosovo have been covered in the past.
April 1999. NATO bombs destroy the Avala TV tower outside Belgrade. It was the beginning of the end for the Milosevic regime. Now, nearly 10 years on, Serbia continues to reconstruct. But many Serbs believe that the foreign media's view of the country remains stuck in the past.
I don't say that Serbs haven't done some tremendous atrocities in the previous years. They did. It is true and it is shameful. But on the other hand, when we see some atrocities done by other participants in that story and that they are portrayed as good guys, it is leaving kind of awkward taste in your mouth. And foreign media are not helping at all. They're still supporting idea of black and white, good and bad, good and evil.
Yet Nikolic once said he would prefer Serbia to be a Russian province rather than an EU member.
They didn't want to really understand what's happening in the mass, what's happening in the people's life, and why are we choosing one or another candidate, and what's the way of living in Serbia.
The victory of hardliner nationalist Tomislav Nikolic over pro-European candidate Boris Tadic in the first round of Serbia's elections was greeted with palpable dismay within the international media.
Serbians may distrust the Western media, but Western media management has aroused far more enthusiasm. Western PR companies are adopting an increasingly important role in Serbian public life.
That campaign in Serbia is much different than before, and as we know, some foreign agencies made campaigns for Tadic and for Nikolic, and for the first time we don't hear bad words, we don't hear the negative campaign, the language of hate between opposite candidates.
The use of Western PR campaigns in media elections is a growing trend within former Eastern Bloc countries. In the Ukrainian elections, pro-Russian candidate Viktor Yanukovych benefited from a Western PR makeover, and similar examples have begun to materialize elsewhere too.
When I saw on YouTube a political presentation of one Slovenian presidential candidate from the campaign, I think from last year, and that clip was just the same as a clip of Serbian Radical Party presidential candidate Tomislav Nikolic. And then some things were much clearer to me. He was everywhere, smiley face, suit, white shirts, freshly pressed, and he tried to portray himself, they tried to portray him as a man for the future, not man for the past or from the past.
This is not a problematic issue for PR companies.
I'm part of multinational American companies. But all what we are doing here, 90% of our work, business, knowledge is domestic. 5 years ago, let's say before 2000, in Slobodan Milosevic period, everything was controlled, in media especially. And now it's different, and now all these companies ask us to help them to create professional image, like in Western countries.
The fall of Milosevic had a big impact on the domestic press also.
We are, especially the RTS in which I work, we are not taking angles. We are trying to be as objective, as cold, as we say, as we can, just pure facts, 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 and nothing but the facts. So it's up to the viewer to make its own conclusions.
For others, the work practices of state broadcaster RTS are not quite so balanced.
State-owned television and radio are, of course, very, very pro-government. Everything, or almost everything, what is done by government is portrayed as a very good move, very smart move. We have more freedom, it is true, but unfortunately we are still not a corruption-free society, and it is, I think, major problem here in Serbia, and it affects very strongly our media also.
Serbia has experienced extreme change in recent years. It seems that both foreign and domestic media may not have kept pace.
Serbia is a country just recovering from 50 years of communist dictatorship and 10 years of Milosevic's dictatorship. So we are very, very accustomed to not trusting the official media statements, and the situation is changing.
If, as expected, Tadic overturns Nikolić's lead and wins the second round, then Serbia will most likely move towards EU entry, initiating yet more change. In media terms, this may initiate change also. The deficiencies of the domestic media reflect many of Serbia's continuing problems, problems which the foreign press are always keen to report. This in turn hardens nationalist pride and slows down reform.
We desperately need care, attention, and much more delicate maneuvering over this region. I'm not talking about Serbia only, I'm talking about this region entirely. But it's much easier to explain in 2 minutes 37-second package. These guys are good guys, these guys are bad guys. Thank you very much. My name is Rupert Smith, live from Belgrade. That's it.
More Global Village Voices now on how the media see Serbia.
Well, most of the European media actually tried very hard to somehow show that the winning of the democratic candidate, as they call Mr. Tadic, is very important for the Europe future of Serbia. They didn't mention names, but it was very clear from their reports that it is very important for Serbia European integration.
Till this election, I can say that the candidate of the Democratic Party is going much more better with the media, and the things are going around the media. But now, for the first time, his counter-candidate is doing very well the job.
Finally, a second helping of the Tom Cruise Scientology video that we showed you last week. The video, which was made for internal use by Scientologists back in 2004, surfaced on the web recently and has since mutated and been mashed up by amateur filmmakers. This mashup, which turned the A-list actor into a candidate for the US version of the Pop Idol franchise called American Idol, is our Internet Video of the Week. We'll see you next time at The Listening Post.
Hey, what's up, man? Tell me something interesting about you. Being a Scientologist, people are turning to you, so you better know it. You better know it. And if you don't, you know, go and learn it, you know? What the bloody hell was that? When I read it, I just went, poof. I don't want to hear any more of this stupidity. Am I gonna do it or am I not gonna do it? Period. And am I going to look at that guy, or am I too afraid?
Don't be afraid of us. Okay. Simon, of course, but me and Paula, we're nice people.
It's rough and tumble. It's wild and woolly, and it's a blast.
It's hard to believe, right? It's wild.
It's just creepy.